Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Liverpool 2, RB Leipzig 0, 4-0 over the both ties. Liverpool saved their season. They have something to fight on for, something to march forward for. And it was a really good performance from Liverpool. You can't deny that. Even the most critical sort of rival fan of Liverpool can't deny they were the better team tonight. They stopped. Leipzig had one opportunity that hit the bar, a bit of a decent save in the first half from an half-decent save. Sorry, I'm just sharing the link here. A half-decent save in the first half from Ellison. But aside from that, it was pretty plain sailing, pretty easy, and pretty simplistic in the end for Liverpool to put themselves through. But it's because they played well. It's because they stopped RB Leipzig. That, for me, needs to be discussed. Barca went out tonight, played well in phases. But you know what? Just no killer instinct tonight. If we're being absolutely honest, no real killer instinct at all from Barcelona in front of goal. Missed so many chances, missed so many opportunities, and they drop out at this stage. But what you know, this it's going to be an excellent Champions League this year. I can absolutely feel it. Let's delve into some of your live comments as you're coming through. Neil here says reasons why we won. Played two centre halves, played Fabinho, and won the midfield battle. Couldn't have been a 7-1 game. Do you know what's interesting about that? You're absolutely right. Boss the midfield. They couldn't play through you. When you went to your mid block and low block moments, they really couldn't break you down with any great gusto. The only thing missing from your performance was being more clinical up front, because you did miss some gilt-edged chances before taking the lead. And maybe this is one of the weaknesses we've seen tonight in Julian Nagelsmann as a footballer. His ability to break teams down that weren't... Liverpool weren't going all-out attack. You didn't need to go all-out attack, and they struggled to break you down. 2 games running, they really struggled to break Liverpool Football Club down. And Jurgen Klopp, just outright the better manager, outright the better tactics, superior in every which way tonight to Leipzig. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. Monsieur here with a comment says, what a performance. Sensational from all the players. Fab was man of the match with controlling midfield performance. Very happy. Wish we were more clinical. But you know what? When you control games, when you're better in those moments, I think you become more clinical as confidence within your team grows. I really, really do. I think you'll become more clinical as time moves on and goes forward. 1 second. Let me just update this. There we go. That's updated. Let's do some more of these live comments coming through. We'll share the link very soon on the Discord server for you to come on and have your say. What a difference Fabinho has made. Thiago looked more fluid. Please, Liverpool players, stay fit for the rest of the season. And you can almost put all your eggs into the Champions League basket in many ways. There's still an outside chance of top 4, but who knows? If Fab stays fit and plays in the middle, it was interesting to see you not get cut open through the centre. Less balls were being played through that were exposing your high line. So, yeah, good answers to all the criticism that's come out in recent times. James Smith says, is Fabinho now third choice? Just thinking. What, third choice centre-back? Yeah, I mean, I thought Phillips and Kabak had really good games today. They had really good games. Aaron says, Fabinho back in the midfield made a huge difference. Teamwork on it tonight. Great win. Could have been by even more goals. Need to see this tempo every game. It's a great point you make there, Aaron. The tempo tonight from Liverpool was sensational. Absolutely sensational. The press at the right times, the work rate to get back into position when you lost possession or when RB Leipzig attack. And listen, everyone knows I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Nagelsmann. I have said that I think Man United may be too early for him. And tonight made me believe that train of thought more. He plays one way, and that's great if you have a superior team. Or if you play in the Bundesliga where everybody attacks. Do they have a low block issue? Like we have, this country's had a pandemic. The whole world's had a pandemic, right? English football's had a pandemic for about 20 years now with low block football. How will Nagelsmann's teams fare in those cases? How will he fare against the 2 or 3 superior teams to us with playing out from the back all the time? They are genuine questions that need to be posed to him as a young manager. What was the plan B when it wasn't working? I think to be successful in the Premier League where you don't have the monopoly, and Man United, unfortunately, I know we want to believe we do, don't have the monopoly. He may need more. KC says, great game from Barca, just like the final finish. Overplayed it a little bit. Listen, do you know what I'd say? Barca let him have the Bayern. Sorry, wrong teams. Paris Saint-Germain let him have the ball a lot of the time. They reminded me tonight, Barca, of the aging Wenger teams with Arsenal. It was like they were just trying to pass it into the back of the net. Just trying to pass it into the back of the net. There was times where I was screaming at the TV, shoot, and they weren't shooting. And I couldn't understand for love nor money why. Peter Butler back in the house here says, great result and performance. Philip was excellent. Midfield fantastic. And Salah lethal. Build on this and who knows. Confident booster. That was needed. Listen, I'm not saying Liverpool can't win the Champions League, or they will win the Champions League, but it's knockout football. There's no fans. There is always a chance. And if you can find form, if you can keep this tempo up, there's a definite opportunity at Liverpool being able to at least go past the next round anyway. There's Porto left in it as an example. There's Paris Saint-Germain. I honestly think you can beat Paris Saint-Germain. I don't think they've got great players. It's just something about Paris Saint-Germain. They never quite convince me. We'll see. Chelsea might go through. That's another opportunity. I'm not saying Chelsea are trash. There's an opportunity. City. Liverpool could knock City out of the Champions League. Let's not get it twisted. They're not favourites, but they could do that. No doubt about it whatsoever. Do a few more comments, then we're going to calls here, people. Make sure you're smashing that like button right now. What's going on with the like button hits, man? Let's get that like button smashed right now. Let's get this past 1,000 likes. Get that done. Get it shared on your social media platforms as well. There should not be Prem games during the Champions League matches. It's a disgrace. Listen, Adam. Listen, bro. Typically, I would say you're right. What I would caveat your point with is this is a concertina season. Everything's crammed in. Nothing is normal. So you have to fit games in somewhere. It's as simple as that. Never compared Dembele to Rashford again. Bro. Rashford's levels above Dembele. He's levels above Dembele. You put Rashford into this Barcelona team, outscore him, outperform him. Easy. You give Rashford a more progressive attacking manager. Shreds him. I mean, he's already shredding him with the PE teacher as his coach. Surrounded by McTominays, bruv. Yeah, I agree with you completely. Terry, can we win it? Of course Liverpool can win the Champions League. Are you favourites, second favourites, third favourites? No. But you can win it. Worst teams than this Liverpool side have won the Champions League. I would still say this Liverpool team is better than your team that won it in 2005. As an overall team, I'd say you're better. Better goalie, better fullbacks, centre-backs, no. Midfield, barring Gerrard, better. Thiago, Gini, Jordan. The front three. I mean, the front three tonight look better. As soon as Firmino goals is gone, Jota looked on. Barring some misses, Jota looked on fire. Definitely can win it. Where's that comment? I've got to put this comment on the screen. It just says, let's talk about 7. Yeah, you need to. Man like Dinesh here says 1 month before the next round, hopefully we have more players back from injury and Liverpool have registered Virgil van Dijk in the Champions League. Does anybody think Van Dijk? Imagine Van Dijk comes back. Honestly, if Van Dijk comes back this season and you win the Champions League, I'm calling him Jesus. Man's rising from the death like Nazareth, bruv. Nazareth settings here. Can you imagine? He comes back from nowhere. Do you know what they got to do? Don't even tell anyone he's back and going to play. And then when all the starting lineup come out, they hear the champions, and everyone's like, Liverpool have only got 10 players. And then the glass smashing sound like Stone Cold Steve Austin comes out, and you just see him walking out to the music like, I'm back. Like, that's what you should do, Liverpool. That's what you should do. Oh, I don't know, but do that. Listen, mate, thank you very much, Tommy Lee, for becoming an official member of the Football Terrace. We've got some brand new content on the way of a big announcement from the Football Terrace coming very, very soon. Contracts are being processed as we speak. Being a member has never been more important, so make sure you get signed up now. We're going to go to some of our first calls. Oh, yeah, you guys had... Someone just put a name up. Yeah, Djimi Traore, bruv. Djimi Traore. Come on, bruv. Come on. But there we go. We're going to get some calls going now, people. Make sure like buttons are being smashed. Keep getting the super chats in. Subscribe to the Football Terrace. And, you know, next to the subscribe button, turn bell notifications on as well. Let's go, people. Safes here, Rams in the house. Boys, you win. You get the, I need to say the 3 points. You don't. You go through to the next round of the tournament. Ram, how you feeling, mate? And give me your thoughts on the overall performance.
Most thing is I'm relieved. The most important thing is that we're through to the next round. Performance-wise, it was okay. It was good. Like, we created a lot of chances, but our finishing was poor. Our finishing was diabolical, honestly. I think we should have scored about 5 or 6 goals today. It was that bad. Like, a lot of decision making in the final third was a little bit off, but the most important thing is we're through to the next round. And shout out Nat Phillips and Ozan Kabak. They were brilliant today. They were
brilliant today. There's no doubt about it. After there being a hell of a lot of pressure on them. Yes, I know you had Xavi Alonso, but I would say Thiago's a better midfielder than Xavi Alonso. In terms of his overall career. So
well, he's won a World Cup, Terry. He's won a World Cup, Terry.
As Thiago?
No, Xavi Alonso.
I know, as Thiago.
No, he hasn't.
Okay, he hasn't. Okay, fair enough. But listen, I would say that. Steve, how about yourself, mate? It's not, does it feel nice to get a win after 7 defeats on the bounce at home?
I can't explain how nice it feels, but I don't want to get too carried away. Like Rams was saying, we had so many chances and didn't make much of them. Finally, 2 goals. One of them was a result of Origi coming on, who doesn't really play much for us anyway. So it was nice seeing 2 goals though, finally. I'm not going to lie, when that ball went in, I had to double look at it to make sure that a ball has gone into the net for Liverpool. And yeah, man, finally a good feeling. And also it was so good to see some of the players playing with their heart for once in a long time. Especially Naby Keita, I think he stood out a lot for me. And also, sorry, Nat Phillips as well. That guy's been getting a lot of stick and whatnot. And Kabak didn't make many.
Fabinho, I forgot about him.
Fabinho, to be honest, there's a lot. It's the first time in a long time I can say there's quite a few players on that team that did quite well, and it's just nice to see.
Yeah, listen, it was look, as a Man United fan watching, I'm not going to lie, there's part of me that was rooting for RB. I wanted a night where you went out and there was more turmoil. But maybe 30 minutes in, I sat there and was like, you're through. They didn't look like scoring. There's a lot of hype about Leipzig, and Leipzig are a bit of a... Leipzig are, for me, they're like, if I was going to compare them to an English team, I would say they're slightly better, but they remind me of Leeds United. Sometimes they can look scintillating. Tonight, if you're an alien that came from space or you were introduced to football from the first time ever today and you watch Leipzig, nobody would be raving about any of their players. Nobody would be raving about their manager because it was rank average. And look, we played them twice this season, Man United. First time round, slapped them. Second time round, we did concede 3 goals and they deserved it. But we were asleep for the first 20 minutes. After that, the game was very even. But you did very, very well tonight indeed. Conroy, how you doing, mate?
Good, guys. How are we all doing?
Good. Give me your thoughts on the performance tonight.
I'll be honest, probably everyone gets credit apart from the front 3 because they don't deserve any. Like, you might score, but they should have scored about 5. I mean, if opposition's watching that, for me, I was buzzing with the rest of the team. But to be honest, Terry, you're talking about from our team's perspective. I think Liverpool were okay, good at parts. The kind of midfield defence done well. But if that was against, I thought Leipzig were very poor. If that was against a good standard team, you can't miss chances like that. It's not. Oh, sorry, guys.
There's a joke there somewhere, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, no, possibly. But no, I thought as reiterating what the guy said, thought Nat Phillips was really good. Fabinho going to midfield was brilliant. Thought even Keita, when he came on, done well. I'd say Gini had a good game as well. He was solid having the captain's armband for tonight. But to be honest, Terry, I think it was kind of what you said. It was just a case of the 30 minutes in, it looked like Leipzig just couldn't land a glove. But what I would say is I don't know what game the commentators were watching, because they were acting like Liverpool were brilliant and Leipzig didn't create any chances. I mean, they had 2 great chances in the first half. If Alisson, 2 seconds, guys. I'm going to move the cat. Sorry, guys. 2 seconds.
Do you know what? Listen, I think I disagree. I know Leipzig had that good opportunity that they opened you up a little bit, and Alisson pulled off a good save, and then there was the header that hit the crossbar, but that was it. I didn't even feel like Leipzig really went for it. Does that make sense? There wasn't really a point where they just went, "Do you know what? We're gonna go hell for leather." I remember that first 20 minutes where they knocked us out of the Champions League. The opening 20 minutes, they were relentless. Tonight, when I watched them, the whole time I'm thinking, when are they going to get started? Because for me, they needed an early goal. They needed an early goal to put a bit of doubt in your mind. And every minute that ticked by, you saw Liverpool's confidence grow. But yeah, sorry, what were you saying, Comrade?
Well, what I was going to say, guys, is sorry about that. She's usually fine. But the way I thought about it tonight was I thought the rest of the team done really well. But what I mean, Terry, is we can all get a bit gassed, Liverpool fans, after that. And on the chat, we're all happy, guys. But listen, you cannot finish like that in the Champions League. We are so lucky tonight that we're not ruining those misses. The finishing was awful. I'd say everyone apart from the front three gets credit tonight. You can't afford to miss chances, and it looks like they've never been practicing finishing tonight. Delighted to get through, but it was 2-0, but it really should have been about 3-4. The chances they missed. I mean, I thought Leipzig defensively were all over the place at times as well. I really wasn't impressed. I don't think there's another team we'll verse in the Champions League who'll give us that much space and make that many mistakes. I'd be very surprised. So again, let's not go over the top like we always do this season. Oh, we're back. Because I'll be honest, I watched Porto last night, and Porto would give us a harder game than Leipzig gave us tonight. Really, I thought I watched the Hoffenheim game a couple of years ago. I'm a big fan of Nagelsmann, but to be honest, I think maybe you say, Terry, tonight, see, because Angelino wasn't there, I think you can see they really do not rely on Angelino, but they like to play with the kind of lopside, and he bombs up the park. But no, to be honest, I thought it was more they were poor and we were okay than us being amazing. So I don't know what game the commentators were watching, but I don't know if else
maybe. I mean, I suppose they maybe looked at it like you nullified them, you pressed them really well. That they couldn't, they very rarely pass through you from coming out of the back, and they don't play any other way. But yeah, I suppose if you look at it as a neutral, Leipzig were disappointing tonight, especially with all the hype that's around them. There wasn't even that good of football from them tonight. There's a few like moments where that was a good bit of movement, good bit of touch. I mean, Upamecano, the goal that Jota should have scored in the first half. I mean, every time I've seen Upamecano play, and I would say that's probably the 12th, 13th game I've seen him play, he has so many mistakes in him. Honestly, people talk about him as being like the top 2, top 3 centre-backs in the world. Honestly, seriously, right now, he's got the potential to be better. But right now, Tyrone Mings over him for me. I'd take Tyrone Mings over Upamecano every day.
Is that how much it costs for potential nowadays? Bayern Munich spending 40 million, or how much is it for potential?
Well, I just can't understand what they see in him, to be honest. Like, we were going for him, and I think towards December or whatever, he just looked a bit clumsy and whatnot anyways, even in the German league. And then obviously we saw the game against us. I just don't see what Bayern see in him. Like, he's big, he's strong, but he's just so clumsy. He reminds me a bit of Mamadou Sakho, probably a little bit better than Sakho, but still, I just don't see what Bayern see in him.
I mean, Man United done him, Terry, didn't they? Like in the 5-0 game. I thought it was okay, then I watched him in that game, and then since then, every time I've seen him, it looks like he's very erratic, if you know what I mean, at times. Quite erratic.
He's jittery. He's just jittery sometimes. He can't sort his feet out. And I'm not saying he won't improve, but it's the overreaction of people talking about him like he is one of the top 3, top 4, top 5 centre-backs in the world. He's nowhere near that standard yet, and he might get there. Sarim with a super chat here says Liverpool should move all their home games to Budapest until further notice. 2 games, 2 wins. That is very, very true. That probably helped a little bit as well. Make sure like buttons are being smashed, people. We're going to go to the calls now. First up, we're going to go to Monsur, then we're going to go to Turap. Football Chase legend Monsur Ahmed. What you saying, bro?
Hi guys, how you doing? Okay.
Very good.
Oh, sorry, 2 seconds. My microphone. 2 seconds. Oh, there we go. That's better. Yeah, it was a good performance, guys. I mean, I said it yesterday, Terry, in the call that you need to play everyone in a natural position, and it worked a treat. Fabinho was absolutely controlling in that midfield. You see what we've missed in the last 5 to 6 games. Conway is right. We can't get ahead of ourselves because, we're coming off of a back of a 6 straight home losses as well. So we can't get ahead of ourselves. But I think if the Champions League was all away games, I think we're going to win the champ. Oh, okay. I said 6. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But if all our games are away, then I think we can win the Champions League. But obviously, we've got to play some at home as well. But yeah, like I said, the front three, you want to give them credit because they scored, but they missed a heck of a lot of chances, and that's something that you can't do. And also, I just want to say one point as well. Jota was a very crucial player in that front three because I'll tell you why. He held the ball up well, and the first touch passes that he was doing is better than what Firmino did in the last 2-3 months, or probably longer than that.
You're right, and for me, look, he got into the team by merit before the injury. Jota over Firmino goals every day of the week. Monsieur, great call, mate. Thanks for coming on, having your say. Thank you. Next up, Tarap, back in the house. What you saying, mate?
Buzzing, just happy that we finally got a result that I can smile about and not be depressed about for the week. Because I'm telling you, man, I've muted so many group chats and left so many. It's been stressful. But no, I just want to talk about one person, and that's Fabinho. And I want to thank Klopp for finally putting him in his position, because I think it's just come to the point where he's tried putting Fabinho there to kind of manage the defense, but he just thought, I've seen enough. Let me just chuck him back in there. And you could just tell the difference it makes for the whole team. I think you guys have mentioned the midfielders, how much of an impact he has on the midfielders, but it just freed up Robertson and Trent to go a bit more further forward as well. And we actually saw us play our natural game. The front three, we should have won by about 3 or 4, let's be honest, guys. But I think we just take it. Mane needed that goal. Mane needed that goal more than anyone. And I think you could tell how happy the whole team were when he bagged that. Apart from that, I thought Phillips was man of the match for me. And focusing on Phillips, I think every time he's come into the team, he's not done anything wrong, really. Like, he wins everything in the air. He keeps it simple. He doesn't try to show off. Like, he doesn't. It doesn't feel like he's trying to prove himself. It's not like Kabak in his first game trying to spray balls around, trying to be a Van Dijk type of player. He just does the basics, gets on with it. And for me, he has to start every game, and Kabak has to as well, because we've got no one else really. Ben Davies has come back from his minor injury. And personally, I think this should be our team, as in starting 11, because I don't know what's happened to Firmino, unless you guys can tell me. I don't know if he's picked up a knock or he's just been given time off. But for me, this is our strongest 11 with what we have right now. I don't know if you guys agree.
Well, definitely, Jota should be there. There's no argument.
Yeah.
Even when Jota
squeeze into that first 11, but
like, when Jota comes on, you saw there's a lot of impetus. Like Firmino, when he does go forward, he does turn backwards and stirs up the play. With Jota, he just keeps everything flowing. That's as simple as that.
His movement's great, Ram. His movement's underrated. If you actually watch his movement, he's not even fully fit yet, but he drops into pockets more like a number 10. And he's not a number 10, but his movement's much better than people give him credit for, than Liverpool fans gave him credit for. I know Terry is a big fan of Jota, but you can actually tell his intelligence is much better than people think as well. If you actually watch, Fulham's not a good example, but he drops into pockets all the time. I think he's just showing the front three up, to be perfectly honest, because his movement is much better than all three of them. Firmino, Salah.
Yeah, he's got good knowledge. He's got good knowledge. He's got a good footballing brain, in my opinion. I think people just remember him for the goals, but because we don't have a number 9 per se that scores, so everyone focuses on that. But if you actually look at him play off the ball and on the ball, he's really good, and he's really
very intelligent, mate. It's a good shout. He starts first, him and Salah, and then whoever else can get in.
I think you should for you. What you also get with Jota is some hunger. There's this element of, how long's Firmino been there now? Like, he's been there before Klopp, hasn't he? So it's 5, 6
been
years.
there 2015, I think.
It's a long time, and maybe he just changes as good as a rest. He needs an opportunity to move on elsewhere. As an example, I think that so you've got that side of things. Jota's come in, he's hungry, he's pushing, and you need that. You need that influx of players, and no matter how good. When I go back and look at great Chelsea teams, great Man United teams, great Arsenal teams in the Premier League era, you even look at City, they had new players. You go out and you bring somebody else in to challenge people that are already in your team. You get rid of a star and you bring somebody else in. You just need that kind of rotation of players to keep things fresh, keep people guessing, keep things competitive. I feel one of the mistakes that Liverpool, Klopp, FSG, the whole caboodle made, there hasn't been enough movement maybe in the last 2 summers of players, and it's made you a little bit stale. It's a little bit of complacency, because no disrespect to your bench from an attacking point of view, no matter how bad Salah, Mane and Firmino are, they're still better than all the replacements. Like, they can be rank average, they can be awful, and they're better than anybody else that can come in and replace them.
Origi got an assist, Terry. What are you on about? You know what I mean? Instant impact.
That was some cross, to be fair. That was
a good cross. It was a good cross.
In fairness, yeah, he did tonight. We're gonna
That
add
was a
some more.
one-off.
We're gonna add some more callers now. We're gonna add in Stephen. Stephen's a Liverpool fan, away from the Emerald Isle. What are you saying, Stephen?
Just over the moon, mate. I thought, like everybody said, we just cannot get ahead of ourselves. You just don't know what this Liverpool team is going to be like. But there was a lot of factors of what happened, what worked well tonight, and what Klopp got right. You should put Fabinho back there in the midfield. My God, it makes a difference. He hasn't been there for about, I don't know, 6 months, 7 months. It's been that long, and it's a difference. And also, I thought Kabak and Pillsbury were immense. I thought they were really good in their partnership, and I think that people don't give enough credit to Nat Phillips. I think he's really good in terms of back there.
No,
Kabak. I think that's
sorry. Somebody here said you look like Andy Murray. It made me laugh. I'm like, you do. You do. You look a bit. Do you know what? Would you say, Steve? Do you think tonight, with playing Fabinho back in the midfield, do you think Klopp nailed it?
Of course he did. Right decision, because he knew that Thiago is average in there if you don't have Fabinho or Hendo back in there. Because what you can is Curtis Jones. He can come on the bench from the bench as well. Don't forget him, and Naby Keita came on. Those are players who did pretty much good when they came on, and I think for me going forward now is we can't drop down. We've got a quarterfinal to go now, whether it's Man City, Porto, Atlanta, all those teams. The Prem also needs to be considered, because we need to finish in a very good position. So I would think rotate the squad as much as you can in the midfield. I would bring in Naby Keita for a few games along with Fabinho in midfield. If you keep Fabinho back in that midfield, it definitely helps us going forward and getting those goals. And I thought Jota as well. People forget that Jota, was an important sign, and he is but an important sign. So for me, he's now in for Firmino, because Firmino with me is just done out here. He's had his time for about 5 years in that position. It's just I think rotate a wee bit, but just don't get carried away, because we've got knocked out to go in the Champions League, and I'm just so happy we got a win finally.
No, I bet you are, mate. Stephen, thank you for coming on, mate, and having your say. Really appreciate it, bro. Thank you. Next up, Man City fan Mido is on the show. Mido. Oh, we get an echo from you there. That's mad. Try calling back on a different line, bro. That's
Terry,
mad.
Can I add something on that point about Fabinho?
Go on, mate.
Could just make the point, guys, again, going back to let's not get ahead of ourselves. Again, Fabinho's playing tonight against a team who's pressing high. So let's see if it will work better, but against a team in a low block, because for some reason, that's an excuse, we use that. But I'd be more interested to see if that's successful against them, because you're going to come against a team in the Champions League who's going to be much smarter tactically and focus on our weaknesses instead of playing gun-ho like Leipzig. So I just make that point again. It's like, let's see how that works against a team who actually sits in. Because it'd be interesting, because I feel like, again, Leipzig kind of played into our hands tonight. So let's see a bit of consistency and see how that goes. Let's not get too carried away on that.
Yeah, I agree with that to a large degree. And I feel like that for both teams. And I did watch tonight with such eagle eyes because of my thoughts on Nagelsmann. And it's making me ask questions about him around, because you kind of sat in. I wouldn't say you played low block, sort of park the bus football, but you sat in when you needed to and countered when you needed to. You didn't go all out attack at any point, because there was no need to leave yourselves exposed. And Leipzig really struggled with that. Now, I totally get that if you've got better players, i.e., you come to Man United, you could make it work better. So it's interesting. Liverpool, though, Leipzig for me, as you said, they're your dream team. If you could play teams like Leipzig every week, you'd win the league because you love playing against teams that try and go forward, that open up. Excuse me.
We've got a Wolves on the weekend, so it'll be interesting to see what we do there because they're a completely different opposition to what Leipzig are. So,
but what right now?
I'm really...
Seeing the next round, guys. Sorry, mate. Seeing the next round, I'm confused now because it's like if we get a Porto or we get a Atletico Madrid. I know that Chelsea might get through. There's a few teams who play defensively, but then the opposite to that is we've not got a normal centre back. So even if you get a Madrid or a Dortmund, I love Phillips, but I can't see them handling them either. So it's kind of like a catch-22 at the moment, to be honest, guys. Not to put us all back down to earth, but that's what it seems right now. I'd love Porto, but at the moment, they'll probably play a low block, and then that'll be a snooker.
But yeah, I think you've got more. What do you think, Safe? I mean, I think you've got more chance beating a PSG than you do a low block team at the moment.
I don't know about that. I was watching PSG.
Oh, Terry.
Nah, man.
As much as they would play in our favour, it's just our brains are still not there yet. Like, as a team, we're just not there. Like, the chances we were missing today, even though Leipzig kind of played into our hands, they had to come into the game and score a goal and make sure we don't concede. Like, everything was working in our favour. Against a better team, we're not gonna score them chances, and they're just gonna come. And those chances that they get, they're gonna put away. And PSG will do that to us. Whereas if we do get Porto, I mean, even if we do give them chances, even if they do play the low block, I feel we're less likely to concede. And once we concede, we've seen like what happened against Leicester. Like, when we concede, that's it. Like, the bubbles popped, and that's the biggest worry. Like, even today,
Yeah, I do hear you on that. We're going to go to some more callers now. Young Aaron's on the show. Aaron, welcome back to the terrace. What do you want to say about Liverpool's performance tonight?
Hey, Terry. Look, I've been watching a lot of films and TV shows over lockdown. So the best way I can describe Liverpool is it's like a scene from Doctor Who, The Sound of Drums, where you put the perception filter key over Martha Jones and you think someone's there, but you can't really see them because it's making you not see them. That was like Liverpool in front of goal before they scored the goals. They knew the goal was there, but they actually couldn't see them. And it ended up being the Rocky story. They came back and they got the win and they got the glory. So I think from a Liverpool point of view, they did it in the end. But, Leipzig were all over the place defensively. I think Upamecano, good luck Bayern Munich getting the best out of him. But I think in terms of looking overall, I think that Origi's cross was brilliant. That was I was hoping for something good from Origi tonight when he came on, and he delivered, thank God. And looking ahead at the Wolves game, I expect a few rotations, with it being a couple of days after the Champions League. But these are professional athletes after all. But with Liverpool, I think it was a good win. But I give more credit to the defence than I would do the front three. And I do think that's the starting 11 that I would see for Liverpool if they want to get something out of the Premier League and try and get as close to the Champions League as possible. But I wouldn't say that Liverpool's one of my picks to win it. I think probably PSG is one of my picks, or Bayern Munich. I probably see them two in the final, depending on who gets drawn where. But I think Liverpool have a shot if they can do the right things. But overall, Terry, it was pretty good. And if Divock Origi's getting sold in the summer, come down to Keep, mate. We'll get you firing.
Maybe you will. Thank you very much, Aaron, for coming on. I didn't get his reference in the beginning. You guys were laughing.
Doctor Who. Yeah.
Oh, I don't watch it.
I've not seen it either, but I just used that reference. I don't know. I just found it really funny.
I was thinking, am I just dumb or something? Because I didn't get it. I didn't get the joke. Next up, Kid City's with us. Man City fan. What are you saying, Kid?
First of all, can you hear me?
Yes, bro.
All right, so I watched both games. In terms for Liverpool, I think they played a little bit better. I think once you see how they play when you have their players in their proper positions. They had two center backs, Fabinho in midfield, all that. So I think they have improved. And for the Barca game, actually, I watched them quite a bit because I understand Spanish. I'm fluent first language, so I watch all their stuff, all the Spanish games, La Liga. That's like my second league. They played well. If they showed that resilience in the first game, they would have probably made it through. But it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, that game could have been really interesting if Messi
scored that pen.
Who said penalties weren't important, eh? Who said
We should
penalties?
have had a pen this
It
game.
was some save. It was some save, to be fair, because a keeper, he dived one way and lifted his leg out, hit the bar. What a goal, though. Messi
I saw the goal.
Yeah, I mean, it just Messi's class. He really is. But it was just one step
He's
too
human.
far for Barca. Barca are just in trouble. They need such a rebuild and everything else. And it's weird. I was watching Griezmann tonight. I had both games on, and I'm watching Griezmann. And I'm thinking, why are you not getting into the danger zone where you can score? And there was opportunity to shoot, and he's passing it. And I'm like, I remembered tonight why I dislike Barca's style of football so much. Not that it hasn't been effective. I just find it boring, man. Shoot, bruv. Just all I kept was shoot. Just have a shot. Who did it the other night? Who should have scored the other night, but they didn't shoot? Last minute.
No, it was you talking about Premier League?
No, it was in the Champions League. I think it was last night. Sevilla. against Dortmund.
Yeah, Sevilla, yeah.
The ball in the box.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Right at the end.
I honestly, if I didn't like my monitors so much, I'd put my fist through the monitor. It's like, what are you doing, bruv? Shoot.
I felt like that when Thiago was on the edge of the box and he tried to pass to Salah.
Oh my god! I was like,
some players just don't shoot. Some players just have not got it in them, eh? Just not got it in them.
When you miss those chances, even the early ones in the second half, there was this part of me rubbing my hands thinking, because your conversion rate's the biggest issue last year compared to this year. Conversion rate has dropped a more significant rate than your goals conceded. It's down by about 12% in all competitions, it's down from like 22% down to 10% this year across all competitions, which is awful. Which means you need 10 opportunities to score a goal in case anybody's bad at maths. So when you missed all them chances, I was like, could this be one of those games again where it just comes back to bite you in the backside? But in the end, you did. And it's funny, I was updating the thumbnail and then I came back and the goal had gone in because I muted it for a second. And that was it. That's all she wrote. Kid City. Obviously, City is still in this. You're going through to the next round. Do you fear Liverpool? Are you worried what they could do to you in this tournament?
Yeah, I think if we draw an English team, I think we're out. It's just how it is. I think, my opinion. I fear Chelsea and I fear Liverpool.
Why?
What?
Why though? Why Liverpool?
It's because like we've been a little shaky the past couple of games. I just feel like especially the way Liverpool play, I think they're probably our most difficult team to play against. Like usually when we play, especially Champions League, when we play against Liverpool, we just get smashed.
It happened once, mate, and this time you've got no fans.
It happened twice.
No, I meant one.
That's the big. You know what? That's the biggest. And like fans affect too.
No
like
fans.
I know we have no like in terms of fan size smaller, but we miss the fans as well. You know.
Do you though? Do you
Don't
really?
pick the lazy banner. Don't pick the lazy banner and say Man City have got no fans. We hear it every week. That's not the case. We know that. Right, 30,000 at Main Road for season ticket holders. Right, they've not got the same level of fans.
All right, Mum. Sorry, Mum.
It's all here because it's like it's the go-to. I mean, it blew my head in if I was a City fan.
It's funny though. It's funny.
Dead banter. Listen,
It's dead. Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, go on, mate. Go on.
I think that was a disgrace that VAR call and Phil Foden. Like, I just hate English refs. I don't even blame VAR. I blame the English refs. That was a disgrace.
Oh, he's talking about that was bad earlier.
City played
So
today.
Phil Foden, the keeper miscontrolled it. Phil Foden, he got clipped by the keeper, but he stayed on his feet, so they didn't call the pen. And they went back on VAR, and they still didn't call it.
He should have gone down, though. He should have gone down.
But can I make the point, guys? They're saying about English refs, but if you watch the PSG game, European ref gives a penalty while complaining about it. I think we need to stop looking at for this.
No, it was Anthony Taylor. I think it was.
Yes, but the PSG game, there's a penalty like that's laughable as well. So it's not just specific for England.
What about last night with like all the stuff that went on with the
Dortmund game?
Haaland's goal was disallowed, and they gave a penalty away. They had to retake the penalty. Then Haaland shouts, "If people are fighting!" Like if an English ref loses control of a game like that, this is farcical. We're very weird. Do I find there's a group of football fans? They pick the English game to watch, but they have nothing nice to say about it. They support an English team, English game to watch, but they tell you how all the other leagues are better, all the other refs are better, or all the other teams are better. And I'm sort of
Spot
like,
on, Terry. Spot on. It's not the case when you watch
why,
other refs.
why don't you just go and support a Spanish club or a German club, bro? Like, you seem happier there. It's weird, man. It's weird. It's like
The funniest.
my daughter come home, she's like, Dad, my boyfriend keeps telling me that every other girl is better than me, better look. I'm gonna tell him to fuck off. Go get one of them then, bruv. What are you doing with her? Like, God, you think she's a hunter? Go get. It's mad. I don't know why people do that. If you don't like something,
Don't watch
Just
it.
don't watch
fuck off.
it. Yeah.
Do you know?
The funniest thing is it's always from the fans that supposedly come across as if they watch that league inside and out, but they probably only watch Twitter highlights. That's the thing that irritates me. Like they're suddenly experts
Spanish
about
refs
different
would do my
leagues.
head in. The penalties you get there, but I'm not saying they're maybe better refs. I get how there are incompetent refs in England, but there is some good ones or reasonable ones. But we're very quick to forget all the credit in the bank. And if you see some of the decisions in Spain, I think it was Atletico against Barcelona last season. It was 2-2, and the penalty they got. Like, fans would kick off here if that happened, but I guess that just doesn't suit certain agendas. But honestly, I think we speak too quick. When you actually watch other leagues, there is bad decisions there with VAR as well. It's not just England.
No, it's very true. But as I said, I just find it very weird how people pick the English league, but they act like it's not the best. They say, no, the Bundesliga better. All these other leagues are better. All these other teams are better. Refs are better. The governing bodies are better. TV coverage is better. And analysis is better. Like, managers are better. I'm sort of like, do you like just to maybe some people are addicted to picking things to be involved with that they actually hate. Do you know what I mean? What do you hate doing? I hate gardening. What did you pick as a career? Oh my God.
Landscaping.
Do you know what I mean? Well, I'm having a career change, so I hate gardening. What are you going to be? I'm going to be a tree surgeon. Like, knobheads. That's basically, it's like, you're all weirdos. If you don't like it, do you know what I mean? Do one, bruv. KC here. Thank you, Kid City, by the way. Great call. Top man. Says Terry, if he had Rashford instead of Dembele, we would have scored 2 or 3 goals. Messi gave him so many killer passes, but he bottled it just like before.
Dembele's a flop, man.
Oi. I test. Where you at, bro? Where you at?
Dembele's a flop. Dembele's crap. Dembele's crap. Please don't. He's crap.
Skill merchant.
What's your thoughts on Griezmann then? 110 million for Griezmann.
He's whack as well.
Who's in charge of Barcelona's transfer?
You know what's interesting?
I don't understand it.
Griezmann's a player that a lot of Man United fans, including me, wanted, right? He would have been another one of those £100 million flop. Like, he really, so many like it, and the crazy thing is, right? We have Marcus Rashford at our club, who is just getting better and better, scoring more, creating more, doing this, and our fans hate him. You've got all these £100 million odd players who are just bang average in better teams, in better systems, in better leagues, and they just look. And I watch him and just think, all right, you've got a nice touch, you've got a nice bit of movement, but where's the end result? For me, they're just friend zone footballers. They do all the lovely stuff, and it's somebody else that gets the horizontal hula. Do you know what I mean? Like, end of the day, I don't want that. Friend zone football FC, bruv. Yeah. The ooze. He's not good enough. He is not good enough.
Just wants to mention something. I don't know if you lot have clocked, but Messi and Ronaldo knocked out in the last 16. That's nuts. For me, I deeped it earlier. I saw the tweet that my mate put out, and it just made me start thinking, like, how long are we going to keep kind of using the last 15 to 20 years to kind of remember them by? Because right now they're not the same. I know I'm going to come across as a bit weird. No, as in they're not the same level of peak type of player. As in, if you look at them now, they are still miles better, but the mileage has gone. It was there, and now it's kind of decreased. So it's like how much longer?
Messi looks like he could drop into midfield right now with the passes he's playing. He's still got, I think he's top scorer in the La Liga right now. No one wants to mention that. And I don't know if you saw his assist the other night. Like, I don't know. Ram knows I'm very much. We're not getting into that debate tonight, but Leo Messi is just alien.
No, I'm not comparing the two. I'm not saying
no, but I just think Messi. Better, I don't think Messi is slowing down. I think he's just not got the players around him at Barcelona. At the end of the day, I think you see Dembele missing those chances tonight. I get what you're saying, mate. There's probably a bit of a stoppage, but I just think Messi. People act like he has to play in the front three. I think he can just drop into midfield, and I think he'll go to City and he'll have all that players around him, and he'll be amazing.
I hope he does.
No, please don't say that, bro.
Why is he not going to go? Why would you stay at
Don't put it in
Barcelona?
the
after
universe,
all that
though.
years?
Do not put it in the universe. Feed.
It's going to
P-
happen.
P-
He could go.
PSG, mate.
Like
Why would you go
Dembele,
PSG?
Dembele he's a better creator than Rashford, I would say. But the problem is you need more than that level. You've got to score more. I was just looking there. Rashford converts over 10% more. He's got a 22% conversion ratio this season across all comps. Dembele's sitting there, sorry, lower than that. It's 8.5% in all competitions. Just ain't good enough. When you're an attacking player, you've got to be better. You know what I mean? It just is nowhere near good enough. Samuel, what are you here to say, mate?
I'm just gonna say, Conrad. I mean, I have to disagree with you because I think it's kind of sad. This generation,
on Messi.
yeah, this generation of Ronaldo is over.
Scoring the Liga, mate.
No, but still in the Champions League, their dominance is over. This generation of football is over. The Messi and Ronaldo era has reached its end. This is the end. Because now, right now, today and yesterday was a peak example of it. Haaland going through to the quarters, Ronaldo going out, and tonight Mbappe going through and Messi going out.
You've got you're
No, but it's a
You've
team.
not won anything yet. The PSG Dortmund haven't won anything yet. So how can you say Mbappe
I
hasn't?
get where Samuel's coming from, but of course that's happening because the age those players are getting to. But this is why the younger generation are going to suffer a lot more with these things. I, of course, was gutted when Giggs and Scholes and everybody else retired. But the day after they left, I didn't think about it again because I support my club. Too many people, like for some people, who they support
Ronaldo FC,
over.
Messi
It's like,
FC.
Yeah.
Ronaldo retires, it's like, oh, I've got to find someone else. It could take them 2 or 3 years to find a player they love enough to really enjoy football again. Now, again, I haven't really enjoyed football loads in the last 8 years. I've had loads of moments where I've disliked it, but I love my club. An hour before kickoff tomorrow, or all day tomorrow, I'll be excited because my team's playing. That's why I couldn't ever support a player. Ugh, yuck, horrible. Honestly, makes me want to go scrub my skin with a scouring brush because I feel like that's it. Once they retire, that's it. You're done. You're out of the sport. As a fan, you're finished. You've got to find someone else to love. It's like my club going out of business and then got to find someone else to support. Could never do it. Filthy, disgusting. It's ill. Repulsive. Don't ever let your children date someone who supports a player over a club. They're nasty people. Trust me. You don't want to be in your... Honestly, they are ops, mate. Ops.
What football is, no matter who you are, football will always move on for you. You know, Pele, Maradona. Now it's going to happen with Messi and Ronaldo. Football moves on, and it's
Of course it will. I just don't think it is right now. I think we're just jumping the gun a little bit too quick with Messi. That's all I'm saying.
And Ronaldo.
I think this is
Messi is finished. No, he's not. He's not. He's still got Messi in it. Operate. You know what it does prove? It proves that the team you play in is every bit as important as the individual brilliance you hold.
Oh, big
Thank
facts.
you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Big
Thank you.
facts. Because if you look at Ronaldo, like yesterday, man, I felt sorry for him. I felt sorry for Ronaldo yesterday.
Yeah, because of what he is now at 36, going on 37. Where were the balls being fed into him for him to score from? You know, he ain't the he's not where he was even 3 or 4 years ago because of age. And it's absolutely right. And when your team around you dips, you know, it's a difficult thing. If you threw Kylian Mbappe, if Kylian Mbappe and Messi had swapped for these 2 games, it might have been Messi that walked away with 4 goals and instead of Kylian Mbappe because he was in a better team. And it plays a massive part. There's no doubt about it. You know, Steven Gerrard, would he have won more and achieved more if he was in a better team for his whole career, like a superior team? Of course.
Let's I know.
It's true. It's very true. He didn't though, and he stayed there. And he's
Matt Letizia, like everyone's exceptional footballer, but just at Southampton, do you know what I mean? So it's like you do need players around you because at the end of the day, it's 11 players on the park, and you're only one player.
Even Paul Gascoigne, for me, he just chose all the wrong clubs all the time. It was like dead club Newcastle to dead club Tottenham. He went Lazio and just I'm not too sure who the powerhouses when he went out there.
Didn't he go Rangers? He went Rangers as well.
Went Rangers.
He was always like, why aren't you at like one of the? Why aren't you at one of the? Why did
Juventus?
He could have gone United, couldn't he?
Yeah, but do you know why he didn't go Man United? Do you know what happened? Mad story, right? So him and Fergie met. This was in the day and age where you could speak to players. They did the deal. Shook hands with Fergie. Now, this was the day where once someone shook your hand and said that the deal was done, you went off. Fergie went off on holiday, said, well, the paperwork and the transfer will be complete when we get back. Spurs then came and spoke to him. They offered him a little bit more money than Man United did, right? And they offered him a BMW, and he said, all right, he goes, and how about a sunbed for my sister? And they said, all right, we'll get your sister a sunbed. That was it, a sunbed. Is the So this is Paul Gascoigne picked a life of mediocrity in the 90s at Spurs when he could have been a Man United player. Like, what an idiot.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
I respect it. I respect it. What a guy.
You could have just went to Man United and said, "Can I get a sunbed and 2 BMWs?" And they probably would have said yes.
Cantona and Gascoigne.
Do you know how many more? Do you know how many more titles they would have won? Nah, mate, I'm fine.
They would have won everything. They would have won everything.
Alan Shearer, for me, made the mistake of not picking Man United, like with hindsight looking back. And he may not have, I think it might be a few more years. He might get a little bit balder, a little bit older, a little wrinklier, and then maybe he'll admit it. I know he's a hero at home, but what he would have won.
I think that's because he won, no, Terry, because he'd already won the league. It's not like Kane, where he could live with winning a title and then just go back to Newcastle.
Because if Tottenham won the title, they're not going to win this year. Next season, if they did, there would be a difference in the way Harry Kane maybe looks at everything else. We're going to get Zane on the show. Zane's a Liverpool fan. What are you saying, mate?
I was just going to say it was a really good midfield performance tonight. I think Fabinho really allowed Thiago to kind of play his game. Those quick passes over the top. There was a clear chance for Salah that he created. And they also another thing, Gini played quite well, just sweeping up everything, getting around the pitch, clearing everything up. That was immense. I think the subs that Klopp made as well, those were really good. Keita created the most chances actually in the match, coming off from the bench in the last 15, 20 minutes that he was on, which is really positive because if we can switch out these midfielders, hopefully it's reducing the amount of injuries that we're going to get. We don't have to put that much mileage on the likes of Gini and Thiago and, whoever. But to be honest, I'd like to see Kabak and Phillips continue the partnership. I think it's going to be really, it's going to really hurt them if we kind of keep on switching them out for like Reece Williams or Fabinho. Because they need the confidence. They need to get back into that rhythm that we've kind of really missed this season. I think Fabinho, just blocking everything, it's going to take the pressure off the centre backs.
One of the biggest mistakes Klopp made. Yeah, you're right. One of the biggest mistakes Klopp made was the continual rotation of these. Even before Kabak and Davis came in, it was a continual rotation. He never allowed a pair to become partners, and maybe that's what he's got to do now. Just let them create a bit of an understanding with one another, get to know each other. Listen, a couple more losses in the league isn't going to make a great deal of difference. You're pretty much out the top four race anyway, with the form that Chelsea and Man United and Leicester have been on. And Leicester looked like they were going to go on a rut, and then they've turned it round. So there we go. Listen, thank you, Zane, for coming on and having your say. We've got a super chat here from KC who says Griezmann covers the same space as Messi. Barto was a clown with Laporte Laporte elected. We have to rebuild like in 2009 to prevent a Milan United situation. Young players like I think Pedro Fati, Pedri.
Pedri's a good player.
And De Jong. Yeah, I don't know.
Messi's not going to wait for that rebuild.
I want to go on that. How long before Barca become a powerhouse again, like they did in the early 2010s?
5 or 6 years.
Guys, you're acting like that was a guarantee. That Barcelona thing has a lot to do with, like, it was Ronaldinho and then Messi, but like that's not been a guaranteed thing in previous years. It's not that might not happen again.
What a lot of people discount with that team is also the combination of Busquets, Xavi, Iniesta. That as a combination, they were just so brilliant.
And the back four of Puyol, Piqué in their pomp as well.
Yeah, he was just so strong.
Dani Alves.
He had personalities in that team.
It's so hard, there's no doubt. But listen, everyone that's tuned in tonight, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. We're back tomorrow on the terrace. We'll be back for a morning stream, and then we'll be going live after both the Manchester United game, and then of course straight live after the Spurs and Arsenal game as well. Strip Beer here says, what does your facial hair make you more judgmental? I'm sorry, Strip. I don't get it.
I don't get it.
Was that when you zoomed in, Terry? Maybe when you zoomed in with the camera when you were saying about the Man City fan fearing Liverpool? Maybe that was it.
That's a meme on the Discord server right now.
Yeah, I Trip, I'd love to know what you mean by that. But there we
It's
go.
very UK office that. I like that.
Listen, everyone who's tuned in, a massive thank you. Make sure you subscribe. Until next